both the young, beautiful ones here. I'm Dr. Rajni Agrawal from Federation of Indian Women Entrepreneurs, and we are doing this show called Rubaru Hamari Pehchan. And the purpose of doing this show is to encourage women entrepreneurs, and the best inspirational stories which can really inspire each one, the others, and they can understand and they can learn and they can get motivated, inspired through these stories. So, welcome you once again. I would like to know, I think both of you are partner in your initiatives. What is the name of this and how you started and when you started? And what was that which inspired you to start this? Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much, Rajni
So who
ma'am,
is
for
going
the
to start
question.
now?
And can you hear
Yeah.
me? Yeah.
Yeah, yes, I can.
Okay, great. Yeah, we're really glad to be a part of this and also share our experience and our story behind Pad2Go. So, the company that we did
Okay.
start in 2018 is called Pad2Go, and we are a for profit social enterprise. And our main aim is to promote menstrual health management in Nepal. So, we
Uh-huh.
both finished our bachelor's in India and we came back in 2018 after completing our bachelor's. And we
See.
came back home after many years, around like around 6 years for me and more than that for Jesselina. So when we did come back, that
Uh-huh.
whole feeling of belongingness was there, that the feeling of giving back to the society and wanting to do something back home was really strong within the both of us. And that's where we really clicked. And even though we're both from very different backgrounds, I'm a civil engineer and Jesselina is a lawyer. And
Oh, lovely.
we had like different thought processes. We studied different things, and we weren't even like in the same university in India. But when we came back, we met for another
Mhm.
project. While discussing about a few things, we realized, how our visions and missions were very similar in terms of women empowerment, especially in Nepal. So that's where we thought we should do something about it and, maybe start something. And we actually started Pad2Go as a passion project because, again, we both were looking for our jobs. Like I was looking for a professional job, and so was Jesselina. We really wanted to work in our professional careers as well, but also do something side by side. So that's where Pad2Go came into existence. And Jesselina, you want to talk more about Pad2Go's threefold approach?
Thank you, Shubhangi. Thank you, Dr.
And
Rajni.
which university you were in India?
I was in National Law University, Delhi, and Shubhangi was in NIT
Mm.
Warangal.
Okay, very good. All right. Yeah.
So just jumping back onto Pad2Go, I think Shubhangi's given us a great brief introduction of how it started. It started off as definitely a passion project, but it has grown into so much more than that. We when we started off Pad2Go, we were unsure about the business aspect because both of us don't come from the business line of studies, neither are our parents into business. So it was really difficult for us to navigate through the field and understand what exactly or what type of prototype we want, what type of model do we want for our business. But a lot of brainstorming efforts, a lot of research, and just talking to people about different models that could work in Nepal got us really motivated to start a social enterprise. And within the social enterprise, Pad2Go has a threefold approach. So our minimum viable product when we started off, or our main product as of now, are our sanitary napkin vending machines. And Pad2Go was the first company ever in Nepal to introduce sanitary napkin vending machines. And currently we've placed over 200
Mm-hmm.
machines across all 7 provinces. We also wanted to encourage and ensure that conversations around menstruation were also happening, because access and affordability of menstrual products is one thing, but in Nepal, like many parts of India, menstruation is still a taboo and is still stigmatized. So we wanted to make sure that young people within the schools, within communities, were talking about it, have destigmatized the issue. And this is part of our second
Mm.
second approach, where we have these sessions along with placing the machines in schools across the country in Nepal. And the
Mm-hmm.
third is that we wanted to make sure that our efforts were also giving back in a more holistic way. So 10% profit from the machine and 100% profit from the pads that we sell is actually used and collected to construct gender and disability friendly toilets in rural parts of Nepal. So when we started off in
Okay,
2018,
very nice.
2018 to 19 we had collected funds, and 2020 we were supposed to place the and construct the toilets. Unfortunately, because of COVID, that has had to be on a halt for now, but we are on the verge of going towards that section of our initiative as well. Thank you.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So, this idea came to your mind just like that, or somebody suggested, or you thought it is important to introduce because you find a lot of health issues in your country because of this particular reason, the reason of not
Us.
using. Yeah.
Yeah. So when we did come back, we really did see that whole difference, even though India and Nepal are neighboring countries, we really saw the difference in terms of development, in terms of economic growth, and especially also in terms of gender inclusivity and disparity, especially in terms of health sector, in the health sector, because we did see a lot of
Mm,
technological advances in India, which we could not find in Nepal. And to be honest, in
mm,
Nepal, we don't even really have these chips or Coke vending machine. So the whole idea of a vending machine itself was very new to people. And the idea
mm-hmm,
of bringing a machine that vends out something that is such a big taboo, right? By the end of it,
mm,
pad is such a big taboo. So we were definitely very skeptical about it. And the whole idea behind it was definitely, we were motivated by it through our own stay and our own,
mm,
like how we were brought up and how we were brought up, especially in India, I feel, because we did get to meet a lot of different people. We got to see a lot of advancements, especially right next to our country. And it was really sad to see the same thing not happening back home. And that's where we thought, why don't we bring these back home? So Jesselina had these machines in her university, and we'd seen these machines in railway stations, and especially in bus stations. And in India,
mm,
local transportation is so easy, and the whole idea of having like a coin and just dispensing a pad was such, like, it was so easy. So we thought, we definitely have to bring that back home. So that's where we thought we'd start. But again, we really realized that just getting a machine wasn't enough, because
mm,
menstruation is a taboo, it's highly stigmatized, and just putting up machines wouldn't do the trick, wouldn't break these barriers. And that's where we realized it's really important to talk to young people, especially young people, and both young men, young women, and people of all genders, because that's where we were very different, because a lot of menstruating, like, a lot of times we think menstruating individuals are women, menstruating individuals are girls,
mm,
and in that aspect itself we're not being inclusive. So we really try to make sure that each and every step of our venture, of our enterprise, is inclusive, number one. And similarly, we try to include young minds, we try to include young people. And our definitely our one of our biggest motivations has definitely also been India, and also how with one machine we've been able to help so many people in Nepal. And that whole idea, that whole impact assessment really motivated us to move forward.
very nice. So the motivation, of course, factor was very good and very important as far as your country is concerned. So tell me that when you started, did you have enough money to start this uh, particular endeavor, or did you try to get the money from somewhere and you borrowed money from bank, or you took it from your family or friends? How did you do that? And how much money was required when you wanted to start it?
Thank you, Dr. Rajni, for the question. So definitely, when we started off, it was, the idea of starting an enterprise, not just in terms of investing in the product, but even just, having, for example, registering a company, having an export-import code. These all aspects also took into account a certain amount of our capital. But what Shubhangi and I were really cautious about is that because we don't come from the business background, we wanted to make sure we could use as minimum as capital as possible. At that time, we had considered taking a loan, but we couldn't find collateral-less loans. But right now, there are a lot of banks in Nepal that are providing collateral-less loans to women entrepreneurs, young women entrepreneurs. At that
Hmm.
time, we took a small loan, a very small loan from each of our parents, which we have paid back within
Which
one
year
and a
did
half.
you start it? Which
Sorry,
year?
2018.
2018. The loan was not available
That time we
in
couldn't find
Nepal.
options. There are loan facilities available, but we couldn't find an
Uh-huh.
option. We couldn't find the correct type of loan that we wanted at that moment.
Okay, okay.
Yes. So we
All
and it
right.
was a very small amount. We started off with 3 lakh Nepali rupees,
Uh-huh.
which is
Uh-huh.
about 0.6 lakh Indian rupees. So
Okay.
that's how we started off, and we have not looked back since.
Okay. Now, I just want to ask you, since you have studied in India and you thought of deciding in enterprises to start an enterprise, did you go through the details that how could you get money? What are the different channels through which you can arrange to get capital, and how you should take the machine? Can you start some kind of a crowdfunding because this was a social cause? Did you think of all these issues, or you thought just let us start and then we'll decide?
No,
Was
that's
there
a
any
very, thank you
analytical?
for the question.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's a very good question, and we would really like to clarify that as well, because that's a question that we generally do get a lot of times. Because a lot of people, even we did have that perception, when you're starting a social venture, when you're doing something for the society, it has to be from a very NGO method, like you can't
Yeah,
earn money through it, and that's, I think,
yeah,
somewhere we both had different perspectives towards it, because we really did realize, as young people who just completed our bachelors, it was really important for us to stand up on our feet rather than asking for money from our parents. We wanted to do something by the end of it, right? And we also wanted to help out. So rather than, like, earning a lot of money and maybe like in our 40s and late 50s being a philanthropist, we thought, why not we start now? So that's where the whole idea of a social enterprise came into existence. And we did do a lot of research. We really did not want to get into an NGO model or a non-profit model, because, again, number one, we did not have the idea as to where to get the funds from. How do you even apply for funds and donations? And number two, we did also realize that this was not financially viable. It wasn't financially sustainable. And as an NGO, you're more you have to do what your donors tell you to, right? By the end of it, like, if it's a project related to health, you have to do a project related to health. And we really did not want to steer away from our mission and our vision, because we were really sure that this is what we want to do and this is exactly where we want to make an impact. And that's something that really set us apart in the beginning itself, because clearing that out, it was easier for us to figure out a business model that fit perfectly for Pad2Go and with our mission and our vision. And that was a social enterprise where we do earn money for ourselves but also help out. And the money that we do earn, the profit that we do get back, isn't really shared between the shareholders. So Jesselina and I, even though we are the co-founders, we are paid as employees of Pad2Go. So the money actually goes back to the society through our different ventures. We also have a lot of voluntary and uh, we do a lot of voluntary works. We also have been donating a lot of pads, especially during COVID. So we do make sure that our money is spent on social impact, or in order to maybe expand our and grow our organization. So that's how we've been able to make sure that our method, our approach is very different, and it really fits us. So I think, like you asked, just jumping back to the question, I think I moved a little bit forward. Just jumping back, yes, we did figure out, we were sure that this is the path we want to take in, and that's how we started a company, and that's how we thought that this is the business model, this is the way we want to do it, rather than just starting into it.
yeah. Because I think, as far as I know, Nepal started, motivating and supporting women entrepreneurs. Nepal government. I think it is almost like almost a decade, I will say, because I know a lot of entrepreneurs from Nepal, and they've been doing quite well, and they have been talking about that women entrepreneurs are getting supports in a big way from the government. So, but maybe because you were
I want to
too
clarify
Yeah.
young and you were too,
uh,
yeah,
No.
yeah, I just
there was
wanted to
lack
clarify.
of experience
So,
and there was nobody at the back of the whole thing. So you took a decision to do it on your own. That's very good thing, because
No, it's
the
not.
more
Yeah,
you
doctor. Yeah, I
Dr.
would just
Rashi, I
like
yeah.
to.
just want to
Yeah.
clarify actually. So when I said that there wasn't a loan that was, that was suitable for us, I did not mean that there
Mm,
were no loans, because there are a lot of loan options from the government. There
yes,
is a lot of
yes,
support, definitely.
yeah,
There-
yes.
but there could definitely even be more support than that is right now, because the loans that are
Mm,
provided are only accessible in more urban areas. Women in rural areas are still having, issues with taking loans. Collateral-free loans for women has very recently started. And for us, we were about 22, 21, 22 when we started. So taking a loan that fits us without collateral was something which was, still very daunting.
Mm.
And so
Yeah.
we started in the direction that Shubhangi
Yeah.
clarified.
Also, just
Mm-hmm.
adding to that, something very interesting also was, that like Jesselina mentioned, we didn't really think about the loan aspect in the beginning itself, because again, we were kind of skeptical as to, will this work out? Will this not work out? And we wanted to make sure that, we don't spend a lot of money in the beginning itself, right? What if it doesn't like add up, it doesn't work out as according as we thought it would. But now with the whole loan problem is that a few, like
Mm-hmm.
last year, when a lot of other young entrepreneurs were asking us, and we also did a lot of research as to what's happening with women entrepreneurship in Nepal. Yes, there are a lot of laws, but again, it boils down to if it's being implemented or not, how the banks are also implementing it, how the government is implementing it. So that's where we're definitely lacking, but hopefully we will be moving forward soon as a country.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think WEAN is one organization in Nepal, WEAN, which is quite an old association, business association. Women Entrepreneurs Association of Nepal, WEAN. WEAN is one, which I know is a very old one. Then there are, of course, Chamber of Commerce. So I have been interacting with all of them. So very nice, but this initiative which you have taken, and you said that your mission and your vision was that you should be able to provide, and you are doing it for profit and not for, it's not a non-profit, but it's for profit. Now, what is your vision for business? How much you want to expand it?